So we would like to firstly invite our presenter on stage. The winning award or the winner's award will be presented by Mr. Saman Pereira, the Group Chief Information Officer for SLT Mobitel. So Mr. Pereira, we'd like to have you on stage. And the result will be announced by one of the judges. So we'll be inviting Mr. Arjuna Seneviratne, Director, Strategic Enterprise Management Agency, Sri Lanka. So we'd like to invite Mr. Pereira as well as Mr. Seneviratne on stage and get ready for the result. That's the number one of Inspire Sri Lanka competition.
Everybody, as you know, as our presenter told you, it is now time to announce the winners of the Inspire Sri Lanka competition. Before I do that, I was asked to speak a few words about the whole process through which we went to shortlist and finally come up with a winner. Now, one thing I would like to say right at the start is that all of the 5 finalists are very deserving of being recognized for an award. All of them have had excellent innovations moving us towards sustainability. And I would recommend that all 5 are incubated as possible business projects into the future by Mobitel. And I thank Mobitel right now for having put this kind of competition together so that we can move a little bit more confidently into an era of sustainability. An era where we are looking at giving, taking precedence over getting, where we are going to look at collectivism as being something that will subsume individualism, where we will look at selflessness as being the key factor and not selfishness, where we will be looking at a world where everyone has an equal place and an equal recognition. And in moving into that area, we have literally about 2,500 to 3,000 young technocrats here. I have a word of advice for you. This is something that we kind of found out when we were doing the judging and the judging stages, the pre-judging stages. And that is this. You must understand, you really must understand, that technology is not an end. Technology is only a means to an end. And most technocrats lose sight of that end. And because they lose sight of that end, when they're doing their innovations, when they spend sleepless nights worrying about their creations, all they're doing is gratifying themselves. What they create is only of relevance and of importance to the creator, not to the world. In a sustainable world, this is not good enough. In a sustainable world, the world is the most important thing, not the technology. If you are going to be tied into the technology only, as I like to say it, you are not actually using technology. You are inside of a techno-jolly. And that is useless to it. Now, in a sustainable world, real people interact with real people. They create real relationships, not virtual relationships. They bring together people who smell, people who wear perfumes, people who have relationships, girlfriends, boyfriends, real things, not online tweets. The technology is useful, but it is not the be-all and end-all of how we live. Living requires all of you to get into the mud, get your hands muddied, and it is only then that you will be able to use technology to impact reality. And we saw in many cases that that was not happening with your inventions. Most of you thought this was a hackathon. It wasn't. It was simply a competition to see how technology could be used to achieve sustainability. It was a competition that was put together to see how technology could support sustainability. And sustainability took precedence over everything else. And this is where we were trying to go with our programs. This is where this country is going. I'm now wearing the hat of a state official, working with the president's office. I don't look like it, my hair doesn't look like it, my clothes don't look like it, but unfortunately I am it. So, regardless of the fact, what we are trying to enable in this country is that, and a sustainable world granted, is a small, smart world. But not small as nanotechnology is small. Not smart as smart cities are smart or smart grids are smart. No. Small as in every sustainable human being understands that his footprint on this earth is small. That person understands that he will separate out his garbage before giving it to the guy who has a solution, which was presented today, to sell things for recycling. He will know that. That is a smart, that is a small human being, a small, sustainable human being, using small things. He is smart, not in terms of the smart things he's using, but in terms of smart choices. He does not bring home things that will probably end up becoming garbage. He will make the choice to put on solar panels. Those choices are smart choices. The smart choices and the small footprint are the critical factors, not smart technologies only. That can only support this. But if this fails, this necessarily fails. Now, you have all heard of this thing that we call, jack of all trades and master of none, yeah? This was the mantra of the industrial age, yeah? This was what we used in the industrial age. We were in the age of specialization. Everybody has to become special at something. But in the sustainable age, it's different. In the sustainable age, we are looking at people being jacks of all trades and masters of all. Now, when I look at you, I'm wondering, what are you thinking in your brains, in your minds? I'm going to tell you this. That type of mastery does not come from sitting in classrooms and getting yourself a dozen diplomas and degrees by the barrelful, by the gallon. No. That type of classroom kind of education gives you learning. It doesn't give you knowledge. To get knowledge, there is no option but to do. And the only way to do is to do. You can't learn about it, you have to do it. And I see a lot of us, many technocrats, playing around in mind games, not really actually impacting, doing, believing in those real relationships that will give them something great, something useful, that can be used by a large number of people. Now, when I say the only way to do is to do, I'm saying something against my own generation and the generation that went before mine. We thought that life was all about discussing, relating, correlating, analyzing, meeting, impacting in various places, in various weird stratospheric exercises. We rarely did. And you're reaping the negative results of that non-doing. But I believe in our youth, yeah? I have a firm belief in you. We believe you can do. Maybe, people tell me, but your belief is misguided. Perhaps it's misplaced, perhaps it's just a hope. But I will tell you this. I'm 52 years old, yeah? I'm an old man. If I lived to be 75, I would have lived I will have 265 months more to live. In that time, you would have had the great opportunity to grow as old as I am. And by the time I'm near the grave, you, or one of you, will be standing where I'm standing, saying things similar to what I'm saying. But I know something now. When you are standing here, you would not be judging competitions to see how we can achieve sustainability. I know that when you stand here, you will be only having a competition to see how you can improve sustainability. Thank you. Now, all that be as it may, you would probably know that when we are looking at all of these programs and processes and all of the competitors who came to us, we were looking at people who were steeped in the ground, steeped in the processes that were happening on the ground. One of the things I'm going to tell all of you before I say anything about the winner is just as a start towards moving to sustainability, why don't you put all of your ideas together? There are ideas that existed in silos because of the competitive nature of this entire process. But put your ideas together. Create something that is greater than the sum of all of these things, if you can. And to do that, try to work with the people on the ground. If you're working with water, work with people who have a problem with water. Not people who are scientifically determining what water is going to be and how important water is. If you are going into agriculture, work with farmers. Get them into your teams. They know, because their hands are muddied and their faces are bloodied by having to fight this battle in this kick-ass reality that we call sustainable worlds. They have fought it. You need their input to impact them back. And impact them back with your technology well. Learn from them and share your knowledge with them. That is your first start towards sustainability. And in that context, I would like to announce the winner of our Inspire Sri Lanka program. And the winner is Safe Agri, Agro Inventors, Arjuna.
Come on, get it louder! Louder, everybody! Seneviratne from Agro Inventors. And we have a Communic Asia 2017 travel package to the winner. Come on, get it louder! Congratulations.
Yeah.
And with that, we'd like to say a big thank you to Mr. Saman Pereira,
Thank
the
you, man.
Group Chief Information Officer, and to one of the judges, Mr. Arjuna Seneviratne. Thank you very much.